Tarkov TV showed us so much cool stuff. It looks like we're gonna get some new news here about Escape from Tarkov. Let's find out what that is.
Okay, so first up, Nikita showed a teaser of like an advertisement where it was kind of like an instructional video on like this crate is amazing, located on a roof in customs, which was like a teaser for them to say that loot was becoming dynamic. It looks as though they're going to be moving containers around for like loot points, so the loot points won't remain static. I don't know if that has anything to do with jackets, or if it's just boxes, or if it's all loot. We have no idea, but that's kind of like what they've teased, is that loot boxes, containers are going to become more dynamic. Which containers those are, we don't know yet. Also, it ended up showing a gun rack in the background of the PMC's hideout of the guy that was like on his computer. You could see like a gun wall of like firearms on display, which was kind of like an add-on for the hideout that's being teased. He talked about like streets and other maps having much larger PMC counts. I'm going to assume if they're looking at like regionalizing maps or something along those lines, like streets being at its full size, or if they took like woods and customs and a couple of other places, they ended up combining them, maybe something like that. It looks as though they're playing around with much larger counts of players. So they're trying to make like a 60 player count in streets being tested. He said that they've already tested it internally and it works well. And he said actually it has no effect on frame rate using whatever technical stuff that they've done on the inside. Repurposed like a whole bunch of employees. They basically said they made half of their dev team work on trying to make the game run more smoothly. And that's what they've been slated with, I guess, for a while now. He said frame rate will be better and it's very playable with 60 players on one map at one time. And he said players specifically, 60 players, not like players and scavs and bosses and all this other stuff. He said specifically 60 players. And he said that they have tested it and it works.
60 players, that's quite a bit on one server or one playable map. I feel like that would make this game a whole lot harder, but then again, I'm still kind of a noob at Tarkov, so I guess we'll find out.
There's a lot of people that were doubting it, but then there was this whole meme about him saying, like, the paper says that it's 60 players, so we have to believe what the paper says, so everybody kind of had to laugh about that one. There's new planned recoil changes that will behave differently than it currently does. Recoil is going to be very different from how it works right now. He also said, tried to defend that he likes the recoil system right now, but again, BSG made it, so of course he's going to defend his kid. The recoil sucks. They are working on a new culling system with new graphical changes in the works. This already exists on streets, but they're looking at adjusting that culling system so that it's optimized to work on the other maps. There should be performance increases due to LOD management optimization, so like polygon count changes that are on maps already. Again, streets is already kind of like built this way, but they're working on applying it to the other maps too, so that the frame rate obviously performs better. This patch will have memory consumption optimization, some of it tied to glass panel shaders. Streets, for example, was hard to run mainly because of glass panels. Will be reinforced fortress on streets, so the car dealership or something around there will end up having more snipers, mines, high walls being planned, including a boss. He actually said there was going to be 2 bosses on street.
Ooh, we're gonna have bosses now, boss NPCs in the game. It's kind of neat. Hopefully they drop some good loot.
They showed an animation for the vaulting system. Nikita said that he didn't like it because of how it was animated at the moment, but that's because the certain pieces of the rigging, like where the hands interacted with railings on fences, or like where your feet ended up at first when you went to hop up on a box, there was like a space there. It wasn't like perfect, and Nikita kind of tends to be a bit of a...
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look perfect, but obviously they're going to improve on this before they actually put it out, I feel like. That's still really cool, though, that you can vault on stuff, because I'm pretty sure you couldn't really vault on things before you could just jump on items.
Perfectionist when it comes to animations, so they want that to be modified before they end up showing everybody, but they showed us kind of like a rudimentary way of how the animations would look. They reworked blind fire, so they showed a side-by-side comparison for overhead blind fire and then side blind fire, and how the new animation is going to look versus the old one. The new one looks way better. Old blind fire was basically just like the arms moving and your character, like the rest of your character, would stay perfectly stationary. The new one is like their torso and their back actually actually moves, and you can see that like there's a lot more movement in like the body of the PMC, which actually looked really good. And it looks like it takes into account the objects in front of you a little bit more. So like if there's a higher box, it looked as though the weapon was raised to be like higher depending on where the terrain was in front of you, if they could clear it. Then they moved on to sound design. The sound design, he talked about, they acknowledged it, that it needs to be reworked, lots of tuning and handwork still needing to be done, heavy and expansive in terms of development. And he talked about meshing the core game engine, their underlying game engine that has experienced major issues over the years with their occlusion layers and everything else, being kind of melded into this Oculus audio system that they're trying to make them both like connect together and work together. I think that that's a huge issue for them. I don't know if that's actually going to end up working for them the way that they are intending it to, but I'm hopeful that...
I mean, they might be just overcomplicating it at that point, to be honest. I could see like a lot of issues or bugs being at large when that comes out. Probably something's going to take a little bit of time to work on or fix or patch here and there as the game progresses.
They'll be able to do something with it because right now it's rough. It's getting better over the last couple of patches, but it's still really, really bad. They showed images of like all of the occlusion layers and stuff on Interchange, for example, as just a look how much work we've done with this kind of thing. But again, I think that's going to end up causing them more problems than less. He also said that they had to be very wary and make sure that they do it really well optimized.
Yeah, because like when you overcomplicate things like that, you're going to end up with more bugs and more game-breaking things that will occur. That's just from my personal experience.
Otherwise, if they try to just implement like all of the directional audio stuff that they want to implement, it's going to be really CPU draining. So they're trying to be mindful of that. And then he said with the adjustments that they're doing, they're working on sound diffraction. So like think about it like around corners. Like if somebody walks up to a corner, you can hear somebody else around the corner. In the real world, that's diffraction, where like the audio is able to like move around corners because it bounces off of different surfaces and stuff and works its way around the corner in a hallway. Or up and down stairwells is another good example. But they're working on sound diffraction because there's a module for that for Oculus that they don't have turned on right now. And then they're also looking...
Wait, he's saying Oculus. Is this game going to be coming to VR? Dude, Tarkov on VR would be so freaking cool.
At reverberation stuff tied to sizes of different rooms. So like, you know, big cavernous rooms and stuff would have like more echo if they're empty, which obviously we don't have a lot of that going on inside of Tarkov right now, or none. So they're working on that too. Okay, and then they talked about sound stutters. So if you ever heard like an AK firing off in the distance and you hear it be like brr, like somebody's holding full auto down and you hear it kind of like spurting, that's a sound stutter. So they're trying to take care of that as a third-party like audio source and fix that. They're working now, moving into like suppressor sound changes and stuff. They're working on a subsystem that has to do with suppressors and subsonic ammunition, and they're also adding a degradation mechanic to suppressors specifically, which I'm gonna guess over time would make them like more loud and affect your accuracy, stuff like that. And then that's also gonna have a visual effect, like visual degradation of suppressors. Upcoming non-technical stuff, where tech is the main focus. So Streets of Tarkov expansion, the next section of Streets is almost completed, will be tied to some lore, apparently like a really big lore piece, will have higher FPS than what you're experiencing in current Streets. He said there's a roadmap of unfinished things that they have teased over the years, things that they wanted to input into the game. He said a lot of those are going to end up being washed and added for like DLCs later.
I'd like to see this roadmap. Maybe I can find the roadmap and then give you guys like an update video like on their next update and kind of show you the roadmap with that as well. We'll have to see.
But the BTR taxi that they teased in like the Gamescom trailers and stuff, that stuff is going to be in. He said it will be in 100%. The next podcast may have a teaser for the BTR. They're going to add bipods and weapon mounting in the game, but he offered no further detail on whether or not that's actually going to be like by the time the game releases in 1.0. They also never gave a time frame on when 1.0 would release. They had a teaser that they showed, or they mentioned being able to heal specific body parts with a hotkey. So instead of like kind of how the animation works right now, where you can hold down R and mouse wheel to a magazine that you want, my guess is there would be something similar to that with holding a hotkey down for like a med kit and then being able to scroll to the body part that you want to apply the med kit to, as opposed to having to tab into your character pane and then like drag and drop that onto it. Also adding the ability to double click food and medicine to use it. Trader menu completely revamped. They showed a teaser of the trade menu. Across the top, there were like all of the traders were listed side by side. You had the ability to like thumb through them instead of having to tab between separate menus.
That's
conduct
good.
Transactions, move things into your stash. Your stash was right there so that you could.
Yeah, UI development and simplification is a really big thing for me. I feel like a lot of companies like Ubisoft get it wrong with the UI.
See exactly what you had, like that you were ordering. The transactional tabs and stuff looked really clean. It looked a lot like Veritas's suggestion that he had made years ago that they finally decided to implement. It looks like it's going to reduce like the amount of clicking between like a whole bunch of different menus by a lot. The changes for the trader menu stuff they said would be in the next redesign patch, but they didn't say when that was again.
Yo.
They showed a gear presets menu. So there was a menu that showed like backpack slots and like the armor and stuff they were wearing, with a drop down menu that allowed you to like name your preset and save it, so that way you could pull it like right away. I'm hoping that they tie that into something with the market, so that when you make the selection for which preset you want, it gives you the ability to be able to buy all of that stuff outright, kind of like how the presets menu works with weapon systems would be good. But they didn't elaborate on how it was going to work. They just kind of showed that it's like in dev. They showed a screen cap of improved friends list with friends lobby that looked like it also showed like people that you had been in raid with recently even, and one of those had tags for escape from Tarkov and then like another badge next to their name that showed whether or not they had arena. They then teased new weapons. They had the whole lineup of the AK-12 being added, an AVT rifle, which is the SVT, but they also said the SVT. They're adding the SVT Dragunov and the AVT, which is the fully automatic version of the Dragunov. They showed a grenade launcher for the Scar, and the VSK sniper rifle, I think, was the last one that they showed. Oh, yeah, one other gun, MP40. The MP40 was also teased. It's going to be added to the game for the lulz, they said. But they...
I mean, weapon diversity, that's a huge plus in my book. Keep them coming. Keep them coming.
Said that this is like 6 to 8 months out, so this is probably going to be like year end. Then they showed an image of armor plates being added to like chest rigs and stuff.
Warzone 2? Question mark? No, I'm just kidding. This game's already way better than Warzone.
But he said like the custom rig thing isn't going to be in the game, and then he showed images of like a Gazelle having the chest plates replaced. So I don't know if that means that the like body armor is going to be something that works, but they're not going to do the custom rig thing. Like plate rigs aren't going to be included, and then the custom rig is going to be in a DLC, or if the whole thing's in a DLC. I don't know which one that was, but they showed a teaser for like something that's in dev. It looked pretty close to finished, so I think that they're going to be like doing the whole like replaceable plates thing like soon. Oh yeah, that with the changes to the armor stuff, they're gonna have the advanced hit boxes. So like the plates will only cover the area that the plates cover, but if you shoot somebody around that plate, like you hit them in the armpit or whatever, and it zips underneath or between plates, that's still gonna count as like a full flesh hit. So it's not gonna be like your whole chest is covered anymore. It's only gonna be like whatever the zones are that the plate actually protects.
That's pretty sweet. I have to say that's pretty dope.
They're adding another QOL thing. Well, it's not really a QOL thing. It's more like an immersive thing for the hideout as an expansion. Every time that you go to like focus on one of your hideout stations, there's going to be like a PMC animation that goes along with the station, looking like your PMC is like tinkering away on whatever they're doing. Or like if you go to like the rest area, the PMC is like asleep on the bed, or like I guess would be sitting on the couch with the cat if they implement the cat. So that's gonna be a whole thing at some
With
point.
the cat.
Basically, they just showed a whole lot of PMC cheeks. Shoulder swapping, they showed left-handed shooting, quick swap to a sidearm, ammo loading interfaces. They said that there was going to be a general rebalancing of everything, but they say that like every podcast. Oh, they also teased the RPD and the PKM. I'm not sure exactly when that's happening. I don't even know if that's going to be by the end of the year. New mechanics for Lightkeeper were teased or mentioned, but he said he wasn't going to get into it. He just said something new for Lightkeeper was coming. And then there was an arena trailer. They showed an arena trailer. So the arena is going to have...
I've been waiting on Arena. So let's see what this is about.
5 locations. They showed prefabbed, like preset class types with
Ooh.
different loadouts. So you don't have to worry about like using your own stuff, but you can use your own stuff if you want to. You can have your own modded guns from your own stash if you own Tarkov. They said that they would have a kill cam, so there's going to be like an instant replay system of some kind for like kill cam, death cam. And he said that the locations were inspired by Contract Wars, so this is basically like Contract Wars maps that have just kind of been updated.
I think I would really enjoy this mode in Tarkov.
For Tarkov with team fights, so 5v5 versus or 2v2 and 3v3 with gameplay versus AI, or you can have like arena battles. But one of the things that they mentioned a long time ago was if you got involved in one of those arena battles and you and your opponents decided that you were going to work together instead of just murdering each other like you're supposed to be doing, there would be sweeper teams that are going to be coming in waves to clean you out, basically. So
Jesus.
if you kind of keep to that whole mode of thinking, then you're going to have to fight like increasingly difficult levels of AI opponents. In the Chronicles of Rigi, which they also teased the next episode of season 2, they showed like Tagilla and Killa kind of coming in at the end to clean out the remaining PMCs and wipe them out. So that looked kind of interesting. I'm interested to see how that goes. Like if that's something that you can win, or if that's something that you just like die. I don't know. The new matchmaking system that they're implementing for Arena, they said that they're also going to be using in EFT as well as the kill cam stuff. There's going to be custom game modes that you can do for Arena with the ability to run like custom tournaments and stuff using Tarkov servers, so the like it doesn't have to be like dev sanctioned this way. You can set up like Arena tournaments and whatnot using their own systems without needing like the EFT devs to be involved.
Oh, sweet. So can we do like customized games and like get our communities involved if you're like a streamer or content creator? That'd be pretty dope.
Set up like special servers for you to do that kind of thing. You can just have them set up. They said that they were going to tease it again and show more specific stuff in the next 4 to 8 months. So again, this doesn't look like it's something that we're going to see in the summertime. I'm actually not sure what they're going to do for like a summertime wipe, because it doesn't look like there's anything that's really close to being finished. Maybe they're going to announce the ability to do the arena as a beta on a select basis, and that'll end up being the wipe patch thing that they try to tease for us. Or like maybe the tutorial map, which they didn't really mention for this. But it looks like for like the tail end of this, it's not going to be like arena, and like the streets expansion and stuff isn't going to be until like Christmas. Yeah, so this image right here, there was a QR code like kind of taped to the wall, and that QR code took you to a standard edition game key. And right now there's also a new quest that came up after they showed the Chronicles of Rigi thing. So this is the first time that they've actually really tried to tie something in, like actually tried to tie something in that's lore related. So important patient. So Rigi took a little sniffy sniff of like some really bad chemicals, knocked his ass out. He ended up like poisoned by it, woke up conveniently blacked out, woke up inside of like a holding cell basically with a bunch of other dudes. One of them looked like a Russian Jared Leto with a really long old man beard that got the shit kicked out of him. They were basically told that they were acting as that sweeper team for Arena, and they got told that they had to go in and clear it out if the PMCs didn't play nice. So that happened. They got told that they had to go and clean them out. They went in to do just that. The PMCs started fucking them up, and Rigi got like shoulder shot. So that apparently is going to this, where she's saying that you have to hand over antiseptic bandages and army bandages. It's a giant community task where you have to hand in 10 million bandages to therapist. There you go. Bandages collected, left to collect. 9.7 million. So there's a counter on escapefromtarkov.com/bandage that brings you to a bandages collected page. Apparently, in order for Rigi to have his bleeding stopped, she needs 10 million bandages worth of gauze. But they don't have to be found in raid, which also means that all of the bandages on therapists are going to be perpetually sold out.
That's kind of nice that they have like a community event going on for that. I've seen that a lot in games. I like when they do that, especially like you've seen it in Destiny 2. Or what's some other games? Maybe did they do it in Fortnite? I'm not sure, but really cool things to have.
This came with some flavor text. It's not in my nature to be asking on behalf of others, but an acquaintance of mine desperately needs your help. She has a patient who's in critical condition and needs to be treated urgently. This person is extremely important to some influential people. She has the medication she needs, but needs bandaging supplies. I would be very grateful if you could help. They need 10 million bandages, and then they'll advance the story. But yeah, there was a whole bunch of codes. I have no idea whether or not they even work anymore. The codes were Podcast Night, Unity 2021, Vaulting, 60 players, and Streets Boss. And then for that, you got all of this. If you put them all in, this is what you got. Tetris, GPU, Moonshine, defib, a dog tag case, flash drive, Abdalbos 2, Adrenaline SJ6, and a Mule Stim. Not too bad. Some decent stuff in there. That could be worse. Okay, so the community event rewards, according to Logical Solutions, who apparently has data mined it, were the following. You get a vodka, 1 serve kit. I think that's saline, right? Peas, 0.15 rep for therapist. Oh, there's also an AKM with HP ammo. So that's what's not included.
Very cool roadmap that we're seeing here with Tarkov. I can't wait for that arena mode to actually come out. Maybe that'll help me get used to the mechanics a little bit better and the gameplay, and maybe get better at the game so I can actually go into some exfil and clear some of those and get some objectives done. Hey guys, if you like the video, make sure you head over to the page, hit that like button, scroll over, smash that subscribe, and hit that bell icon to get notified for future video drops, and I will see you guys on the next one. Thanks for watching.